The Mt.Gravatt lanes here in Brisbane for the second semi-final of the Coca-Cola Tenpin Classic. With us once again, former Victorian Tasmanian State coach Glenn McFarlane. I'm looking forward to this game today, Glenn. We've got Carl Bottomley from Queensland up against Warren Stewart from Victoria, two very good players. How do you separate them?
Well, I'm looking forward to it too, Bill. It's going to be a great match-up. We know that Carl can post some high scores. He's done that so far in the tournament. But Warren's a big fighter. He's fought to get to this stage. It's going to be another tight one. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Yes, let's see how the two of them stack up. Let's have a look at some more details on both of these players as they warm up. Carl Bottomley has bowled a perfect 300 game on 7 occasions. He's won the Cool Foam Classic 3 times and is a regular Australian team representative. Carl topped off a fantastic 1996 with 3rd place in the World Cup.
It's got to be treated as just another day at the office. Every day you walk into a centre, you've just got to treat every day as a new day and take things one step at a time. I've done reasonably well in the past, but not exceptionally well, and I'd like to walk out at least feeling I bowled as well as I possibly could.
Warren Stewart won silver at the World Cup in 1995 and has represented his country on several occasions. He has 2 300 games under his belt and was a member of the winning 1997 Victorian state team.
I must admit I'm a bit of a slow starter in many tournaments. I've come out of the blocks very ordinary. If it was a 100-metre dash, I'd have no chance in the world. You still got those wants that you want to be up there all the time, you want to win, and you want to achieve, you want to be the best, you know. It never changes, you know.
And then there were 3 remaining, 3 players left. In the Coca-Cola Tenpin Classic, of course, Michael Little already into the final, but today his opponent will be decided either Warren Stewart or Carl Bottomley. Which one will it be to go all the way into the grand final? Warren Stewart is going to open first frame. Here's the first ball in this semi-final. And Sue Castle also joins us in commentary today, current Australian team member. Welcome along, Sue. Interesting start.
Yes, it was an interesting start. I think Warren will be a little bit disappointed with that first shot, but he'll go back and try and convert the 3 pins and spare them, and then get on with the rest of the game.
Oh, and well, an unlucky break for Warren to start with.
Well, Sue, with these 2 players that we have today with Carl and Warren, either of them really can't afford to give the other a break.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, Carl has managed, he's averaging a massive 257 average for his 3 games on TV, and I think that is a well-established Australian record that will probably stand for quite some time.
And here's Carl now for his opening frame. He's looking for strikes. He's drilled us all the way through, and it's going to be no different in this semi-final, I don't think. Carl Bottomley starts with a strike. Not forgetting a few weeks back, we saw him hit 11 strikes from 12 balls. Hit 7 in a row. He bettered that, actually had 8 in a row in one game, so certainly is the in-form bowler in the Coke Classic. 28 years of age, administrative officer in Regent's Park in Queensland, and has a fair bit of home state support here in this semi-final.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think he's the crowd favourite at the moment, being a native Queenslander.
And of course, we already have a Queensland player in the final, so could be an all-Queensland affair, who knows? Oh, is that coming around enough? Yes, it is. Well, you've got to take whatever luck you get in the game, as you've said right throughout the tournament, and Glenn perhaps a bit there.
Well, yes, Carl didn't seem too pleased with himself on the release of that ball, but it came up, you'll see on our replay here. Yeah, talking to himself and the pins, but a great mix for another strike.
Warren Stewart now, 34-year-old from Curram Downs on the outskirts of Melbourne. Really enjoyed watching Warren right throughout the Classic, and that's why, because he's as good as they come. Don't worry about that.
Superb comeback from Warren after that first frame that he opened, coming back with his strike. He'll be working on making it 2 in a row now.
Yes, this has all the makings of a fabulous semi-final. Both these players have played a lot of matches to get through to where they are now. played some exceptional shots right throughout the tournament. Warren starting the third frame. He wants a strike and he's got it.
See, it's interesting to know with Warren that he's played the sort of shot today that he has all through the tournament to get him to this stage. He's really putting on a lot of power, keeping it nice and tight and nice and straight to the pocket.
Yeah, that was a great comeback after opening the first frame. Next two shots after that have been very deliberate. He's obviously got himself focused mentally. He knows how to do it technically. So let's hope he can catch up those 10 pins. Carl at the moment has got a lead of 10 pins over Warren. And we see Carl going for his third strike in a row.
Play! That's the turkey. Turkey for Carl Bottomley. 3 in a row. And let's not forget there's a $5,000 bonus off with a perfect score. Is the pace setter. Only at the very early stages of this second semi-final against Warren Stewart from Victoria. That is 4 in a row for the Queenslander. Listen to the crowd. They're right behind him.
An absolute superb technician on the bowling lanes is Queensland's Carl Bottomley. Just completing his 4th strike in a row.
No.
Yeah.
Warren knew it. He knew it from the start.
Just threw it a little bit right of target.
And the ball just skidding through.
Yep, it's not going to come back and take it out. I mean, it would have been nice if he'd at least been able to get the 10 pin out, but the job's before him at the moment. He's just got to go for the Brooklyn and slide the head pin over.
Disappointment for Warren. But he won't let that get him down.
Well, he approached it with the right way. He was trying to go over, slide the head pin over into the 10 pin. Just missed, only a fraction, and he's really got to get himself together and get back into this game at the moment.
Warren Stewart does just that in this sudden death semi.
Well, we know, Bill, that Warren is a fighter. He's won more matches than any other player to get to this stage in the Coca-Cola 10-pin Classic.
Yeah, but if he wants to beat Carl, he's got to get going from here on. I mean, this man, we've seen him over such a long period of time, and there's not too many times when Carl bowls and he doesn't actually knock over 10 pins at one time. He's got a 40-pin lead here at the moment, and he's just about to bowl the ball, and we're hoping he can get his 5th strike in a row for the match.
Oh, look at that come around. Oh. Again, he almost dismissed that ball immediately after release.
Still a fine effort, though, and I guess for another week the money stays with AMF and Goldpin. That's the $5,000 bonus up for any of our players in the Classic that can score a perfect game.
Carl comes in to close out. And does that nicely. There's $1,000 to the player for that shot or frame that wins or turns a game. We'll keep an eye out for that. And not too many more opportunities left to stake a claim for the $1,000 cash.
You can just see there Carl actually putting some rosin on his thumb. That's obviously it's very, very hot out there. The conditions, they're sweating, just taking time to dry his hand, dry the thumb hole of his ball out. The last shot he might have just slipped off his hand just a little bit with the perspiration, but he's taken his time here and set himself, and let's hope he can get back into that striking mode again.
That one seems to have come across on him.
Yeah, laid it up a little bit short there, or perhaps even pulled it inside his target. And Carl's left himself with what we call the baby split on the right-hand side, 3 and the 10 pin.
Yeah, but we've also got the 9 pin there as well, behind the 3, so...
adds a little bit more difficulty to it.
Yep, it certainly does. The degree of difficulty on converting this spare goes up by having that 9 pin straight behind the 3 pin.
Oh, well, you just called it, Sue, and did make it a little more difficult.
It's a hard spare to convert at the best of times, and I guess doing it under the pressure of TV and the sudden death match and the prizes that we've got up there. It's the trip to the high roller tournament. I mean, it just adds that added pressure to making an even more difficult spare than it already is.
Warren Stewart to start his 6th frame. And it's come out pretty well. Not as well as he probably would have liked.
Go hard, still go straight.
Go hard, go straight, he called.
Yes, you could hear Warren talking to himself there, Sue. Obviously, each lane is playing slightly different for Warren.
Yep, that's correct. And Warren's playing a much straighter line too compared to what Carl's playing. It's got a chance of this. Oh, just behind it.
Very nice attempt. Imagine this man on screen, Warren Stewart, is trailing at the moment against Carl Bottomley.
That was a much more relaxed shot from Warren. Actually straight out on the lane. You see his follow through. It went straight through. Got some fingers on the ball, which enables the ball to rotate and turn back into the pocket.
Warren Stewart, 34 years of age, a bowling centre proprietor.
And an excellent example there with Warren Withers sparing, particularly cross lane at a Tenpin, how he just flattens it out there to make the mark.
Carl Bottomley, as we mentioned, a current league average of 200. Warren Stewart has a league average of 206. 1996 was a big year for Carl. Won the Australian Open, the South Pacific Classic, and was 3rd in the World Cup. It's now to open the 7th frame for Carl.
Sit there!
Well, I think he said it all. He's certainly sat there all right.
Well, it was a
Set
big
all those
shot.
pins in the pit.
Big shot, Sue. You can see with that one how Carl really put the ball out in the lane. You'll see here on the replays, hoping for it, calling for it to hold its line. It sat at a great strike.
Yeah, fantastic shot there. The shot itself actually looked like it was more deliberate than the last shot we saw on the previous lane. So maybe he got some determination and some drive back, and maybe we can see him strike out for the rest of the game. And that'd be lovely to see him reach a game of 255 if he's able to strike out for the rest of the game.
Carl maintaining a comfortable buffer over at Warren Stewart. Queenslander has 5 strikes. Is that going to be 6? The horse very close to it.
Yeah, yet again, Carl knew that he'd
Hold on.
pulled it up short there of his mark, of his target. He was pretty good count, Sue. He probably even could have gotten away with a high Brooklyn strike there.
Could have gotten away with it. And he knew as basically as soon as the ball left his hand. Obviously slipped off a little bit earlier than what he would have liked. Maybe the pressure of the lights is tiring them. They're getting a little bit tired at the release point.
There it goes. Nice close out for Carl Bottomley. He's all smiles because he's just extended his lead to 56 pins over Warren Stewart. So a real challenge for Warren ahead at the moment.
Something?
That's a much better shot.
Yep. You see Warren's eased off on the pace on that right-hand lane, and he got the result he was looking for.
Sudden death semi-final action continues from the Mt.Gravatt lanes in Brisbane. And at this stage, it's all the Queenslander, Carl Bottomley. But this man on screen now, Warren Stewart, is looking for a double. Back-to-back strikes. Ooh, right on the head pin and left a very, very difficult split to clean up.
He's not having much fun out there at all today, is he? I think he's pulling everything he can out of the book, and at the moment, just nothing seems to be going his way.
So the pressure's been on from the start for Warren. Do you think perhaps he might have been trying a little bit too hard going into this match?
Well, I mean, that's a possibility too, but I mean, he has known how well Carl has bowled over the last several weeks. I mean, he knew what he was basically coming up against playing Carl in this final match, and you know, it's all Carl at the moment. Like I said, possible 4 strikes. If he can finish this game out with 4 of them, he's going to end up with a very nice game of 235.
9th frame now for Carl Bottomley. Another strike. We're very familiar with that.
It's a lovely shot there from Carl Bottomley from Queensland. This technique, everything picture perfect. You'll see coming up on the replay here. So much power when it hits the pocket there.
That's 6 strikes now for Carl Bottomley. He's taken a stranglehold on the semi-final and indeed a place in the all-important grand final. And that one's coming around nicely too. Oh, agonisingly close.
Well, as Carl goes about the business of cleaning up his 10th frame here, it means that Bill and Sue will have an all-Queensland final.
Yes.
Big grand final coming up.
Yes, that'll keep the hometown or home state fans very happy. But apart from that, it just shapes as a great game. But let's watch Carl here in his 10th frame. Doesn't make any mistake, takes out the 10.
I mean, mind you, we haven't had much of an opportunity to see Carl bowl at too many spares, but it's interesting that most bowlers opt to change bowling balls to a harder ball for their spare shot, whereas Carl still uses the same ball he uses for his strike shot, but throws it a lot harder, a lot faster, and flattens the ball out. Straightens it out a lot more so as it goes directly to the spares.
Well, he's looking for another strike, and he's got it.
He'd be happy with that. A fine way to finish a match. 215 for Queensland's Carl Bottomley. And that takes him one step closer to winning the Coca-Cola Tenpin Classic. He's into the grand final.
7 strikes for Carl Bottomley. Let's watch as Warren Stewart plays out this semi-final now. 10th frame for him.
No chance.
Looked like Warren tried an entirely different line on that shot. He tended to do more of what Carl's been doing, throwing it out to the right-hand side of the lane and letting the ball do the work and coming back. Maybe not just enough speed on that one.
Yeah, the ball just rolling out there towards the end of the shot. Now, Warren will be disappointed with his performance, but he's a fighter. He's probably fought harder than anybody else to get to this stage.
He has. He's averaged 203 for his 4 games on television during the Coke this season, scoring 814, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. He's bowled extremely well on television this time.
Let's see if he can have a big finish with a strike. Yes, he does, and that's a fitting reward for a fine performance throughout this tournament for Warren Stewart, but all the applause as well. A lot of the applause for Queenslander Carl Bottomley into the final, the grand final of the Coca-Cola Tenpin Classic. A big win, 215 to 157.
Yet again, another big winner in the Coca-Cola Classic, and that's Queensland's Carl Bottomley. Carl, another big win, that time over Warren.
Yeah, it's just been like a magic tournament for me so far, but there's still one step to go.
Now, we know that you're bowling well. We've seen that over recent weeks, but have you been in a grand final before, or have you in fact won the Coca-Cola Classic?
No, I haven't. The best I've ever done is about the 5th, which was quite a few years ago, but over the last 18 months I've been doing better, and especially in major tournaments my results are improving.
Well, you're one step away from achieving that. Hopefully you'll get that next week. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you very much. I hope so too.
And that's the end of a very gallant run from Warren Stewart from Victoria. But Glenn, what about that win from Carl Bottomley to get into the final?
It was a good win, Bill, but as you said, the Warren bows out of the tournament now. Carl, he's into that grand final against Michael Little. And